Hi there, it's Kristen Gates with 94.9 The Bull. I love this guest because I feel like we've kind of grown up together. Everybody say hi to Josh Turner.
Hey, everybody.
You got a lot going on. And I think I've learned with you that you've always had a lot going on. It's just when you're not the big country superstar, because for a while they're pretty intense, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People ask me all the time, so when are you going on tour? And I'm like, I look at them funny. I'm like, I've been on tour since 2001. Like, well, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You need to pay attention more.
Yeah, the last time I saw you, you were actually playing a show. You released a greatest hits album, so it's still, I guess, sort of the same as it always was. You release an album, you go out on the road. So you're going to be doing those dates through the rest of the year.
Right.
And I saw with all of the dates, and I think I've never thought about this, but I'm thinking about it with you. You're playing amphitheaters, you're playing entertainment centers, you're playing fairs, you're playing country stores. Is there a setting? I'm not necessarily asking about a city, but is there a setting that you like to play? Maybe not a venue, but just like a...
Well, I have people ask me that all the time, and it's a hard question to answer because I've always said that it really depends on the crowd. You could play, in a fantastic, brand new, state-of-the-art venue, but if the crowd's no good, the venue doesn't mean anything to you. But you can play, in some pretty rough-looking places. But, man, if the crowd is showing the love to you that night, that to me is what matters because it makes my job more enjoyable and easy, and it's just but as far as venues and stuff, a lot of times, like, I don't like really small crowds, no offense, but but like the really big crowds, it's hard to have a connection with a really big crowd because it's hard to hold everybody's attention when it's too big. So, like, you go into these performing arts centers, these theaters and stuff like that, where it's a hard ticket kind of thing, and people are there to see you. It's a whole lot easier for me to go out and just kind of connect with that crowd. I can interact with them between songs. I can tell jokes, whatever. Just crack up with them. But so yeah, it just really depends on the crowd.
And when you talk about a crowd and you say they're showing love, we're Josh and I together. If I may, just going to put a little public service announcement out there. We would all like you to sometimes just put down the phone and enjoy the music. I mean, get the clip that you need.
Yeah.
But then maybe just enjoy it.
We need to have like a social media segment during the show,
Yes.
like where everybody gets all their the footage and the whatever they need, and then just put it down.
Yeah. So again, public service announcement. Think about that at your next concert.
Yeah.
When you see a child, because I think this happened the last time I saw you perform live. You see those kids out in the crowd, little kids that haven't been around all the years that we have for Long Black Train and all of the hits, and they've got that sign up, and you can tell this kid, 5-6-year-old kid, knows your music. That's got to be a different kind of, okay, this is cool.
Oh yeah, the fans are incredible. That I just released my new record, this country music thing, this past Friday, and the title track is actually a song that I wrote by myself, and it mentions that. It talks about how there's nothing in the world like a country music fan. I mean, they will stand out in the rain and the lightning and the snow and the blazing heat, and I just came from a signing. There's a guy that drove 16 hours from Minnesota. There was a woman that was supposed to have heart surgery today, and she rescheduled it so she could come see me. I mean, it's just crazy stuff.
They are. It's the most loyal
they're dedicated.
fan base.
They
People
are.
ask me that all the time, and I'm like, because listen, you do right by them, they do right by you.
Mm-hmm.
And even when you
Absolutely.
don't do right, they're still going to stand beside you.
Yeah.
You can throw furniture.
Yeah.
They're still going to love you.
Right. I see what you did there.
Not bringing up any names. You talked about this new album. That's got to be a grind when you are touring to support your last album, but you're releasing a new album and all that comes along with releasing the new album. And you talked about the title cut, but you strike me as an artist because I think there have been arguments where, well, if you're not writing every song on the album, then you're not a real country artist. But then I've also talked to artists that are like, I'm not going to write a single song, on an album, and it's giving other songwriters an opportunity. Do you feel like that?
Yeah, well, there's, are we talking business?
We're talking whatever you want to talk.
I mean, you're always getting pressured from producers and publishers and whoever in the business to cut outside songs, because that's a big part of the business. But there's been artists in the past that they were very adamant about recording just the songs that they wrote, and they probably missed out on some pretty big hits. Who knows? I mean, it's hard to tell. But then, like I say, you got people like George Strait, who hardly wrote any of his songs until later in his career. And
it worked out for him.
Yeah, I mean, but every artist is different. Like some artists, they put the effort and the time into trying to write, and for me, I've never considered myself one of the greatest songwriters, but songwriting is tough. I know guys that write 5 days a week and all year. And they complain about how hard it is, because it gets even harder the more you do it, because there's only so many words and melodies, you can use. But for me, I don't have a ton of time to devote to writing. I kind of have to block off time to, devote to that. But when I do, usually I have a ton of ideas to kind of work from. And so it kind of works to my advantage. It's like Roger Miller used to say, you have to let the well fill back up before you can kind of start being creative again. And so yeah, for me, every record that I've ever done has been a little mixture of both, songs that I've written, songs that I've written with other people, outside songs, covers, I mean, it's just, I've always just been an advocate for allowing the songs to kind of dictate what the record's going to be. And I'm just open to, it doesn't matter where those songs come from. It's just I'm just open to great songs that showcase my voice in a great way.
And so so you will set aside time, or you're not one of those people that wakes up or you're riding down the road and you're like, I've got a line, and you have to put it in your phone so you can remember it?
Well, I'm always putting stuff in my phone. I write down title ideas. I was spraying my hair with hairspray the other day and got a great song idea. And you just never know where they're going to come from or what's going to spark the idea, but it's a really good idea, and I hope I can write a really good song about it. So
I didn't realize, I knew this from years ago when we talked, that your wife Jennifer was playing keyboard and singing backup vocals, and you guys would go out on the road. I guess I just thought when you guys had your 4 boys that maybe she would say, I'm not going out on the road, but did I hear that she is still going out on the road?
No, that's a rumor.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how you raise these 4 boys.
No, it was hard, with the first 3, but I mean, because they practically grew up on the road, and yeah, she was in my band for over 10 years. But yeah, when we had that 4th one, it was like, do we really want to kill ourselves doing this? I mean, because loading and unloading the bus with 4 children, and they don't get any smaller; they just keep getting bigger, and
And boys eat.
Yeah, they eat a lot, and
Yep.
so it just
And
got
they
to be
stink.
very hectic and chaotic, and so it was like, you know what, I think it's best that y'all just stay home, and I'd go out and do my thing, and we can just kind of make it work that way, and that's what we do. So.
And it has worked, because I think for a lot of couples, that's got to be like a huge. That's a big change when you're used to being together all the time. Now, some couples say, hey, it's great when he or she goes out of town. It's probably saved our marriage. But when you've been together that long doing it, like, that's a lot of time together.
Yeah, Jennifer and I have always been better together. But, we're also, our relationship is strong enough to where I can leave for a week and it's okay. We're fine. We stay busy doing other things and all that. But yeah, and we also were very intentional about blocking off time to do things together as a family or as a husband and wife. And so, like I say, it's, what's the old saying? You get out of anything what you put into it. And
God goes where God flows. That's
right.
what I tell everybody.
That's
Yes. Speaking of Jennifer, last question. Does her voice make an appearance on any of the songs on this new album?
Yeah,
at the
it's
very
funny
end
you
of a
should ask.
song.
Yeah, it's
Is
called,
that her?
Yeah, Pretty Please. It's one of the songs on the record that I just really loved from the first time I heard it. It had a very interesting feel to it. It's kind of a mid-tempo ballad kind of thing. But yeah, my producer was actually the one who had the idea for her to come in and sing on this. So she was even more flattered by that than she probably would have been if I had asked her to come in and sing on it. So she was pretty excited about it.
What do you think? I don't like to ask artists, what's your favorite song on the album? That's probably like one of the worst questions you can ask an artist, right? What do you think will be people's favorite, or what do you think is my favorite song off this new album?
What do I think is your favorite? Let's see.
I have two, actually.
It's probably yours is probably either "Pretty Please" or "Somewhere with Her."
Nope.
No.
Nope. I
Okay.
do. I do like those. I listened to the whole thing.
Well,
I
you
like
seem kind of sassy, so maybe heating things up.
Two-stepping.
Two-stepping on the moon. Well, that's
Two-stepping on the
good.
moon.
That's good.
I love that one.
I just did a video for that.
I
song.
just saw it, and
yeah.
I saw Marty Raven from Shenandoah on it.
That's right. Yeah, that I love that song. I played it on the Today Show yesterday morning, and the video is super cool. It's probably the coolest video I've ever done, and just
Yeah, I didn't realize that was you in the astronaut suit. But you guys are playing poker in that video. Are you a poker player?
What's funny about that whole scene, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but none of us had ever played poker.
You do not
No-
strike
none
me
of
as
us
a
had
poker
ever-
player
we
getting
d-
together with buddies.
We had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how good our acting is. It's like
Yes.
we looked like we knew what we were doing.
It's
No.
incredible acting.
But
for sure.
I mean, you think about that. Randy Travis, Larry Gatlin, Marty Rabin, John Anderson, and Mark Norman were all sitting there together with me, and none of us knew how to play poker.
Well, that was my next question: was who gets that to happen? Is that you calling buddies, or people doing that phone calling for you?
That was me calling them. It was my idea to have like artists that had actually had hits with songs about the moon, and so you got Randy Travis, who had Honky Tonk Moon, John Anderson, Mississippi Moon, Larry Gatlin brothers, Talking to the Moon, and then of course, my favorite moon song is "Moon Over Georgia," which was
Yes.
written by one of my best friends, Mark Narmore.
Great. Yes, it's good.
Big Shenandoah hit. So Marty Rabin from Shenandoah was in it, and so and of course, Steve and Rudy Gatlin were playing pool there towards the end of the video, and so it was a super cool, fun video for me.
Yeah, that one is good. Other song that I really like, I might begin the title. Is it "Down in Georgia"?
Mhm,
Yeah,
that's it.
I like, and that's not. I've listened to all of them.
I did
Is
not
there a
write that.
female voice at the end of that one?
No,
So what is the one that? What's the other one?
you're probably thinking "Somewhere with Her."
Yes.
Yep.
That's it. Yep.
Yep.
But that's not her voice. At the
No,
end.
that's Allison Moore.
Okay, thank
So,
you, everybody. Appreciate
yeah.
it. You'll know what I'm talking about when you listen to the album.
But to answer your question, my favorite is "Unsung Hero." It's the last song on the record. I never thought that it would end up on a record, and it's actually an older song that I wrote as a tribute to my granddaddy, who was a World War II veteran, Purple Heart recipient, and I've learned more about him since he died than I did when he was alive, and so it's kind of gotten the attention and intrigued a lot of people already, and they seem to really relate to that whole story about how that greatest generation, they went out and did what they had to do, and they didn't come home and talk about it. A lot of them didn't even hang anything on the wall.
Yeah.
It was just they were very honorable.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. You've won so many awards. You've been nominated for so many awards. You've done the country music thing. Do you see what I did?
Literally.
Tied it in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And then, but you've also done gospel. You've done bluegrass. And there was a quote that I read that you said, "I don't believe God wanted me to be a gospel singer. I think God wanted me to be a Christian singer, and that's what I am." Were people trying to pigeonhole you into that? Like, what would make you feel like you need to say that to people?
Well, I don't know. I just basically was saying that, like, I've always been outspoken about my faith, and I think that was where a lot of that kind of came from. But I was just reiterating the fact that God called me to be a country singer. That my heart's always been in country music. I knew from a very early age that I was born to sing country music, and I've always loved gospel music and all of that kind of stuff, but I just never was called into that. But the thing that I've always loved about country music is that historically it's allowed me, or any artist for that matter, to sing about pretty much anything they want to sing about. It's a genre that's all about human emotion and storytelling and the human heart, and so that covers a lot of territory, including faith and love and lost love, and you go on down the list. Johnny Cash was a good model for that for me, because when you really listen to a lot of the songs that he sang, he covers so many different subjects throughout his repertoire. I mean, it's unbelievable the things that he sang about. It's just, I mean, everything under the sun. And so I was like, man, if country music allows you to do that I want to be a part of that.
But you've never really done the songs that are about throwing them back, drinking, partying,
No.
anything like that. And you've had a fantastic career not singing about some of
Yeah.
that stuff.
Well, it's funny. I was telling somebody earlier this morning, as convicted as I am about who I am and what I believe and my faith and all that, I still love a good cheating song or a drinking song or whatever. But when you, like you say, when you listen to my records, I don't sing about that stuff because that's not my life. That's not what I do. And I don't fault anybody for singing about their life by any means.
Did it ever become a problem when it seemed like that's all that was out there? Those were the songs that were being written?
It was, I mean, it's been frustrating at times because I feel like, I haven't gotten the attention that some other artists have gotten, but it's like, well, in order to do that, I'm going to have to compromise who I am, and I'm not willing to do that. So it's just, I've just kind of stayed in my lane and done what I've done, and I think my fans have appreciated that.
All right, let's go back to personal real quick with the boys. Just tell everybody the ages.
Currently,
Yep.
the back half of the year is when they have all their birthdays, so I have to think for a second. Currently, it's 9, 13, 15, and 17.
Favorite age time for the boys, or the one that you dislike the most?
I've never disliked any of the ages, but probably my favorite is when they were like 3, 4, 5, somewhere along in there, where they were old enough to walk and they were get to talk a little bit, and just they were still just super innocent, and they just loved to just be thrown around and wrestled with and all that kind of stuff. It's just super cute.
Are they speaking that language that those teenagers speak that you don't understand what those words are?
Oh yeah. And now that they're all in the same school and around other people their age, it's a lot of risen going on.
A lot of risen and skeezing and podiuming.
Yeah,
That's a new one. I just heard podium.
Yeah.
I was like, what does that mean? Because usually the words don't mean anything close to what you think they are. But podium really means they want to be on the podium. I think it's coming from the Olympics.
The worst is my 13-year-old. He's so funny. He's the cool cat out of all of my boys, and he just I had to take him aside recently, and I said, when you text somebody, especially an adult, I want to understand what you're saying. Like, I want you to prove to me that you can create a sentence, like with the proper grammar, punctuation, the whole 9 yards, capitalization.
Yeah.
I mean, apostrophes. I mean, it's like, let's see what you got.
And then did you follow it up with no cap?
But I mean, the LMKs and the IKRs and the whatever, I was like, dude, give me a break.
IYK, yeah, same.
Like, spare me.
And then was there ever the hope that, like, were we trying for a girl and Jennifer was like, I'm done?
Yeah, we tried 4 times.
So every time, yeah. Yeah. Did you say I'm done, or did she say I'm done?
I think we both
collectively said
we're
we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, the raising kids is not for the weak, man. It's not for the weak. Have any of the boys shown any kind of interest whatsoever in music since both you and Jennifer and her family, right? Her family's musical.
Yeah, my oldest is the one that's showing the most passion about music. And
do any of them think they're good singers, but they're not?
No. They're all pretty laid back about that. But my oldest is like, as far as like playing instruments and stuff, he's like off the charts. Like, you throw an instrument in his hands, he can play it. I mean, it's sickening, what he can do. I mean, and to prove that point, he went out on both of my Christmas tours back in 2021 and 2022 and played piano, which he had never played before. He played the record parts that Gordon Mote played on my records, so Jennifer could sing what Rhonda Vincent sang on the record. And it was like, how are you doing it? Like,
that's so cool.
You were like 14, 15 years old.
Yeah, that's cool.
I was like, that makes me sick.
Yeah. Do you think will he want to go to Belmont, like his parents?
He's looking at it. We're considering our options.
You would not try to maybe push them away from that just with everything? Because while I think you've lived a great life and you've lived a very clean life, and I don't think you've sold yourself out for who you are, I know you had to have seen ugly parts of this business that have been frustrating, that you don't want anybody you care about to be a part of.
Well, I think there's ugly parts to no matter what path you walk down in this life, and so, but that one thing that I've been adamant about is like I don't want to enable them. I don't want to hold their hand, and like I'll help him, in certain areas. I want to try to make sure he, avoid certain pitfalls on the business side of things that I, messed up at because nobody prepared me for that side of the business or the industry, and because like musically on that side of it, he's covered, but I just want to make sure that he's going about it the right way. He's, and he's a typical teenager. He's impatient. He was like, "Let's do this right now," and I'm like, "Whoa, let's look at the whole picture here."
Yeah, we are about the same age, and I have certainly over the last probably year had to realize it myself, but have felt confident enough to say it. I don't have a ton professionally that I feel like I need to prove to myself anymore or to anybody else. Is there anything?
Isn't that freeing?
It feels pretty darn good. It feels a little scary, because then you worry that you walk that fine line of complacency, and you don't want to do that either. But is there anything that is still on your list of like, if I could just do this, or do you feel like you've gotten to do everything and then some?
I mean, I have a few things on my list. There's one thing that I tried to go after years ago, but there was other more important things that came along. But and it has the only thing I'll tell you is it has something to do with honoring one of my heroes.
Okay.
And may or may not happen. We'll see what happens. But the world has changed and technology has changed so much. It's like I don't know what it looks like yet, but.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm going to whisper in your ear after this when we turn off the microphones, because maybe I think I know, but I don't know if I know.
No, I can promise you don't know.
I don't know?
You don't know.
It's nobody that's been in a video lately.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
All right. Never mind then. Control-Alt-Delete.
Or ever.
He is hitting the road. He's going to be in Washington by Thursday. We talked about long road trips, and you said the longest road trip for career was how many?
On a bus.
Because I don't know that I could do a bus, but how many miles?
2,750 miles.
I would say I would hard pass on that.
And that was nonstop. That was without stopping.
Yeah. Well, maybe it'll be a little cooler there.
So one funny story about that trip, that trip was from Spokane to Boston, and by the time we got to Rapid City, South Dakota, I was about to go crazy, and so I made my driver pull off into a mall parking lot in Rapid City, South Dakota. And by the time almost before he came to a complete stop, I was out the door, like in a dead sprint, just running through the parking lot, and I was like running around the mall. He said it was like letting a dog out that had to pee real bad.
Yeah.
It was like, he said, next thing I know, he said, I put it in park and there's Josh like running around the mall.
Can you play the alphabet game with a bus driver, or do they not appreciate that?
I want his complete focus on the road.
Okay, all righty. I appreciate you taking some time, because I know you've got this touring schedule.
Oh,
we
my
adore
pleasure.
you. I so appreciate your music, and I think it matters to so many people. Still get requests for it all the time. And when you've got a song that's been out for years and years and years and people still want to hear it, I think you were talking about Johnny Cash. I think when people are singing songs about you, that's a huge testimony. But when I think about all of the people that have made your songs a part of their lives, I think that's a huge testimony too. So,
speaking of, I hear tell that there may or may not be a new artist that may or may not be having a new record coming out like this coming weekend that may or may not have a song that is about
you.
Yeah, part of it, just like a line.
Listen, that worked for Taylor Swift. So you never know.
You didn't hear it from me.
Okay, I don't even know what you're talking about. Everybody, Josh Turner, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.